Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. This is News Check. Today we are talking about women and politics. A lot is emanating here, and before we took the break, we were just addressing the issue of creating an environment that would be friendly for women to vie and thrive in some of these leadership positions. One of the issues that actually came out before we took the break, Gloria, was the fact that, yes, we are saying this, but where are the women? And you cited the fact that there could be reasons why women are not coming out in adequate numbers to vie. Probably just to shed light on that for us to see where really the problem is.
You know, I'll use my personal experiences, yeah? And my personal experiences have been that the political field is very hostile towards women. The first few people that I shared with that I want to go into politics were actually political friends. And they themselves were very, you know, borderline kind of, you know, you don't want to waste your... that was the first thing. But when I went to the ground, you know, when I actually left my home and left, you know, when I actually now said I'm going to sell my manifesto, every morning I wake up to threats of rape, for instance, you know? In all those social media forums, in groups, sometimes targeted directly at me, saying that in Kisii we don't have women leaders, and for you to be introduced into politics first we must rape you. Then I ask myself, how many women are on that platform who are actually watching all the, you know, threats?
And that's a very serious threat.
Yeah, repeatedly, from the same people.
That's very serious.
Every day. It's almost as if they have an alarm and they go back and they say, because to them they know that it's a way, it's an intimidation that they can use to scare me out of the race, of the political, you know, arena. And then, and that's just something that they have probably chosen and said, unajua huyu tutamsumbua na hii. But now think about that woman who has to literally come out of the community there and say, I'm running for MCA in this ward, and they can't even step out of their compound before getting physically abused, violently attacked. So, you know, that's why I said, as much as we're saying women are not coming out, I mean, the stakes are high. They're being castigated, they're being, you know, banished out of their society because you think utakuja hapa kucontrol wanaume is the thing that they use. The second thing is, you know, you're a woman, you're just a symbol of, you know, something we can use and dispose. So these threats, and as much as you might think that they are you know, they just write them, they call you and give the threats, they actually have a completely extensive impact on how many women are actually going to look and say, look at what Gloria is going through. Why would I want to put myself through that? You have to be completely passionate and convicted that you're walking this journey as a woman, because it's not only about you don't have resources or how many cultural issues will you defy. It's actually life-threatening. You know, you've seen instances where the likes of Millie Odhiambo and all these other women,
they had to beat odds.
They had to beat the odds. They had to stand on top of the table and scream, because it's the only way to defend yourself as a woman, you know, in those spaces. You've seen instances, including in the by-elections in, was it Kabuchai or Matungu, where there was an alleged woman who apparently they said she was trying to change the votes. And the first thing that she was being threatened as they were walking by the men who are around her is, we are going to rape her. Let's rape her to teach her a lesson. So those threats are real. And sometimes people ask me, why do you want to do this? You know, you're comfortable, you're okay, you have your family, you know. Why do you want to go into a field where the same people who should be empowering women are the same people who are actually threatening you with this?
Why can't you just live a simple, quiet life?
Why can, that's the thing. Why can't you just live a simple... And I said it at the beginning.
As a mother, as a wife,
I am so convicted, and I believe that if I don't do it, probably no one will.
Fred, how do we jump beyond that, you know, from where you sit? Because many women would not be as courageous as Gloria and the others who've dared to try. And she's citing very life-threatening, it could be light talk, it could be serious, but this is something that would really make a lot of women feel intimidated and not want to come out and engage in such talks. How do you go beyond that as a woman candidate who wants to be a leader in this country?
First of all, when you decide to join politics, it becomes a challenging aspect in its own, whether you're a woman or a man. But it is more challenging for women. And listening to what Gloria is saying, when people start issuing threats of rape, then I think that it is too dangerous. And those are the issues that we call challenges, historical injustices, structural challenges, traditional challenges that are facing women in politics. So there are also men in this country who have used such challenges to scare away women who want to run for politics. So I want to encourage women, don't fear. Don't fear. Come out and speak strongly about them the way Gloria is doing, so that we encourage more women to come up. Number two, the security apparatus in this country must now also protect the women. Because
absolutely,
I saw in one of the by-elections in Western Kenya where, even though that woman was not a contestant, but was an IBC official who was being frog-marched, you know, was being frog-marched, and they were talking very bad language on what they can do to her, carrying, you know, those ballot boxes. I think we must, going into 2022, we must now start thinking, how do we secure our elections? How do we secure the public? How do we secure the contents? And particularly, how do we secure women who are participating? One thing we must do, we must start speaking about this thing. We must give women roles. We must make it deliberate attempt to give them roles right from offices, right from homes, right from the small villages, so that they take up leadership roles as they grow, just like other women of the world. Hillary Clinton was given opportunity from home by the husband. The former president of Liberia, Ellen Salif, was given opportunity from her own family. So we must start from our own families, our small spaces, and give women opportunity, so that we make women occupy institutions, and then bigger institutions, and then national and international institutions. We must also protect them. I have seen in this country situations where women come out to compete, and you know what happens next? They are asked questions. Those questions, the policy must stop, because you cannot ask them questions and also complain that they are not in the political spaces. You must ask them questions and they answer, but you must also give them a fair platform to compete. We are lacking a fair platform for women to compete. We are lacking embracing women. We are lacking legal structures that allow women to come on board. We are also lacking the goodwill that you're talking about. The goodwill here is, women go into politics. Even those who have gone into politics, when they stand, I saw one of the members of parliament from Western Kenya telling a woman on the floor of the National Assembly that this woman, I'll slap you. I'm sure you have seen that clip. This woman, I'll slap you. Such utterances scare women who want to go into that house. Because if you're going into parliament and then you're going to be slapped by a man, then you say, I'd rather stay with my family and take care of my kids and not go into national politics.
The violence is,
that violence is so bad.
It's bad.
Lastly, we have seen that women have shown that they are capable and suitable. All we need to do as political parties and as politicians and as leaders, encourage them and walk with them this journey. And let me tell you, maybe one day, when we have a 50-50 National Assembly and a 50-50 Senate as projected in the coming years, then the issues to do with women agenda will pass seamlessly. One of them is gender violence. We have so many women that are suffering in this country because of gender violence. But the legislation in the National Assembly, some of them don't see light of day in amendments or in proposal, because there are fewer women that can push that agenda. In legislation, it's about numbers. You mobilize and pass. In the Senate, the same. The issue that happen in the counties, there are women in this country who are going without food, without education, without health care for their children. Why? Because there's no one to speak for them. The men speak for themselves. But even those who are supposed to speak for them selectively when an issue occurs. We want now to see women in both houses, in the county assembly, so that they start speaking for women. Issues to do with rape, that allegation that my good friend here, Gloria, is talking about. When Gloria gets in parliament, then now she needs to look at amendments into those clauses, so that we even jail for life people who are raping women and they're scaring women from getting a position of leadership. We are saying, let's start by doing simple things. Give women opportunity in the house, in the institutions of work, in the national platform, in the international platform. I was very glad when I saw one of the, today the Director General of the WTO, World Trade Organization, a lady who is from Nigeria. If you look at her CV, she was given opportunity right from school. But here, when we go to school, a teacher says, where is the young man? Come and climb and fix for us this. Why not tell the woman to climb and fix? Start empowering them right from early
gender
childhood.
equality.
Yeah.
That gender equality we must speak strongly about. In the house, when you have a boy and a girl, you say, when you want to go for a stroll in the evening, it is 7, you just walk, you say, Daddy, come, you call the man. Why don't you go with all the women in your house and walk with them? We must start empowering them from the family level as we go up. And then they shall live to know that leadership opportunities are numerous and they are occupying them.
It's true. It's true. It's the basic things that count.
Correct.
Because we're just about to wrap up this conversation. I understand I have a very few minutes left. We started this conversation by asking whether women in Kenya can ascend to the highest office. And you know what the highest office in this country is? Sylvie Kiningi is a woman in Burundi. She served as the acting president between 27th October 1993 to 5th February 1994. To date, she is the first and the only woman to hold such a position in Burundi. We had another one by the name Agathe Uwiri Jimana. Kinyarwanda is very hard, but that's her name. She also served as an acting president between July 1993 and 7th of April 1994. This was during the opening stages of the Rwandan genocide. To date, she is also Rwanda's first and so far the only female to have served in that capacity. And then adding to the list in the East African community, we had Samia Suluhu, who was sworn in just the other day. So only 3 have gotten to that highest level of position in this continent.
No, 3 in East Africa.
In East Africa, yes.
Yeah. In the continent, we are now counting 10.
Yeah.
Because we have Liberia, we have Gabon, somewhere Rose Francine.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are wins.
Yeah. So will Kenya? Is there a likelihood that we could just join that list in the near future?
I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
I honestly, truly believe I think we're getting there. We've had the likes of Charity Ngilu run. We've had the likes of Martha Karua run for office.
The late Governor of Bomet.
The late Governor of Bomet, actually. Joyce Laboso. So I think we're getting there. I think if we are at a place where we've normalized women governors, as much as they're not a big number, but we've normalized that you can actually have a woman who's a governor, I mean, why not? The only thing that, as I said, the challenges have to be dealt with. And truly, this is one of the reasons why I am really pushing that I get into the National Assembly, because as Okango said, the only way to change things is if you wake up. Somebody has to wake up and start doing the work. There's this assumption that as women, we tend to complain a lot. We go to our corner, sasa hii serikali, sasa nini, sasa sisi tutafanya, wacha wafanye vitu zao, and things like that. But at the end of the day, we should ask ourselves, what are you doing to change that status quo? What are you actually doing as an individual to change that? In your small little space, maybe you might not go to parliament and do ABCD, but in your home, how are you actually pushing that agenda that women are being seen as leaders? In your office, for instance, you might be an entry-level assistant, but how are you pushing that agenda? So we can't be the same people who are complaining and complaining. Women are not given space, women are not. Sometimes we complain too much, and I know for a fact that I've been in forums where women have been given opportunity and they just don't show up. I've been to TV shows where women are given opportunity to come and speak on the women agenda and they don't show up. So as much as we are saying that, yes, there are challenges and those challenges need to be addressed, I believe as women who are passionately interested in changing that status quo and pushing that agenda, that we also have to say, in your space, Gloria, stop complaining about the government. Stop complaining. What have you done? And I can be able to say, actually, in my small little space here where I have influence, I've done this, I've said this, I've empowered women in this way, I have, created a culture where women can. We have to start from somewhere. So I think, I would say in the next 20 years, if not less.
20 years? That's a long time.
No, it's not, because we are looking at, we are also being pragmatic.
I was about to ask you 2022.
No. 2022, we are
becoming too ambitious.
I truly hope that Martha Karua actually runs for office. I truly, sincerely hope that the likes of Charity Ngilu run for office or support a woman presidential candidate. But you see, we are even struggling to think of the presidential candidates who are women. Like, other than, and I don't want to seem like I'm biased, you know what I mean? Okango, when we were on break, said, if I was to call a caucus for young women in politics, he he could only think of 3 people off his head. So we need to also be aware that we must actively participate in changing that idea that women cannot be in leadership. Yeah.
Before I go to another issue, Fred, I don't know what your sentiments would be. 2022, Her Excellency, someone?
It's possible. And I can tell you why. It's possible because there are qualified women to get to that office. All Kenyans need the goodwill from their colleagues and support. And you know, even if we don't want, we are still scared of a woman leader in the big office, let's start from the deputy president being a woman leader. Let's start from there. I can tell you, I'll be the happiest man to walk into a ballot and vote for a combination of a man and a woman as president and deputy president, or vice versa. That is what we want to see. We are able to do that through encouraging women. The women that have occupied the highest positions, Anne Waiguru, Charity Ngilu, Martha Karua, they should now start speaking as one and front one of their own to run for the top office. And the men will support them. Because we are also told women are their own enemies sometimes. They fight each other. Is it true, though? I don't know about that. But I have seen where women look at their others and say, your shoes are nice, but I think mine are better.
Okango, I think the last conversation we had on that notion is when, for instance, we've seen you as the Secretary General of Thirdway Alliance going head-to-head with your former chair, you know, and we don't say how come men fight men. Men have an idea of fighting men. No, it's just 2 political leaders who have different opinions and different ideologies. So when women who are actually coming together and saying they don't have the same ideologies, why is it looked upon as women fight women?
But women genuinely supported each other. I think we are, if I'm not wrong, we have like, in the voter registration, women actually form a large chunk.
Let me tell you, if you look, I attended,
voters in this country.
I attended the post-election review by IBC of 2017 at KICC. And if you look at the numbers, it started by demographics. Number one, out of the 19 million voters, 57% were young people. Then out of the 19 again, 60 were women. So it means
my point.
that women today can wake up and put one of their own as president. Young people can wake up and put one of them as president.
If they want.
You know what? If they want. What is lacking? They don't want.
No, Serfine,
going into 2022,
let me say something.
Gloria and the team must show us that they want to be in positions of power.
They have the vote.
I will speak particularly for Kisii County. We are 52% women, yeah? And women support women. I mean, we are the same women who pushed to have a woman candidate in Bonchari. We are the same women who are actually still supporting our fellow youth women in whatever activities they're doing. So I think let's not look at it like women don't support women. Sometimes we differ politically in ideologies, just like men differ with their fellow men. But I don't think the idea is that women don't support women. I think the idea is that women have been conditioned to think that other women are not capable of leadership. And the moment we unlock that from their heads and they stop looking at women as their fellow women and start looking at women as what do you bring to the table in terms of skill sets, then definitely they'll be able to see women as on an equal level as men. It's not an issue that we don't support each other. Personally, I will tell you, I am such a big supporter of any woman out there who's trying to push the agenda of women empowerment economically or socially. And that's the reason up until now, I will anytime campaign for any woman who's standing up and saying they're running for so and so, because I truly believe the bigger picture is not even about them as a person, but it's about the wins we're trying to gain in terms of gender empowerment.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Gloria and Fred. I'd just like to give you 30 seconds each for your final remarks as we wrap up this conversation. I'll start with you, Fred. What do you leave us with? After all is said and done, can women thrive in this country?
The people of Kenya must realize that women are suitable, capable, and competent. And they must be appointed or elected on the basis of their personal integrity, not on the basis of where they come from, not on the basis of their gender, not on the basis of who they relate with, but on their personal integrity. And that must start from our political parties, from our families, from our homes, from our workstations, from our institutions, so that we encourage women. And going forward, I am convinced that the progress we have made, we have seen number of governors, female governors elected, we have seen a few women members of parliament elected. We want to see, and with the amendments that we are now pushing forward, we want to see a better way of involving women, not only by pushing them and giving them seats, but also by providing an environment that allows them to participate fairly in an elective process. That shall be done. And we want to say that in 2022, we might just be lucky as a country and have a female president or a female deputy president. It is coming, it shall be done.
I'm looking forward to that day, though. Gloria, what's your final word?
I think my final parting shot would be that I want to encourage women on all spheres out here. I want to encourage them to come out. We have 15 months to elections. The journey is not easy. It's definitely very challenging, very difficult with a lot of obstacles. But the first step is to actually come out and declare that you want to run for office. And I think that it's high time, and I want to particularly appreciate the women from my constituency, Bobasi constituency in Kisii. I appreciate the fact that they've held my hand, they've actually come out in big numbers, and they're saying, you know what, this time round, we are actually going to elect a woman. And now that you've come out, you've shown us what you're going to do, I want to appreciate the women of Bobasi constituency. And I think going forward, do not be scared. There are a lot of threats, there are a lot of things, but you know, if you're passionate about this thing, and if you're passionate about, convicted to change something in this country, you know what? No retreat, no surrender. Paka 2022.
What a way to end it.
Paka kwa debe.
Paka kwa debe.
That's such a nice way of ending it. Thank you so much for creating time this particular morning. Gloria Orwoba, she's a youth policy analyst, and of course Fred Okango, the Secretary General, Thirdway Alliance. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for creating time. All right, we've come to the end of the program, and we just want to hand you over to Tanzania. I told you you've been following up very closely on the burial arrangements of the fallen president, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Today, his body was ferried to Mwanza for the residents to have a chance to pay their last respect. I understand that right now, as you speak, the body has already been transferred to Chato. This is where his home is, and is going to be laid to rest tomorrow, on Friday, actually. In that particular place. And of course, a lot has been said about this particular man who has served the country as the 5th president from 2015 when he was elected to 2021 when he died. He has served 2 terms. And of course, before that, he served in various capacities in the country as the Minister of Works, Transport and Communications. This was from 2000 to 2005 and 2010 to 2015. And also as the chairman of the Southern African Development Community from 2019 to 2020. And I can go on and on about Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, who many celebrate as somebody who was very stiff and very assertive in what he meant business, and he could call you out if you were serving with him in government. He could call you out in case you were not doing your job and actually call for action immediately, and his problems were solved on the spot. Many have really celebrated him for a man who was spiritual, and he loved people. He was a people's person, and I can go on and on about him and what leaders have said about him. We just want to hand you over to Tanzania to just follow up on what is going on. And of course, we have a lot that has been said in terms of the tributes that come with him. And we just leave you with that as you continue to follow very closely what is being done in Tanzania ahead of his burial on Friday, the 26th of 2021. My name is Serfine Achieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Odingo. Thank you so much for creating time for us. I'll see you another time. I'll be coming back for the lunchtime news, so stay for that and continue enjoying the rest of your viewing.